most complimented Middle Eastern niche fragrances.
Here's some codes to save you some cash on your next Middle Eastern niche or designer fragrances.
What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're going to be talking about 10 of the most complimented Middle Eastern niche fragrances that I've rocked in the summertime. Now, before we get started, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and let's go ahead and kick things off with this honorable mention, which is called Awal Hikayatna by Qissa Perfumes. And what this smells like is crisp green apple along with some raspberry, peppers, leather, and musk. Very unique, very different. Has a very fresh take on leather. It's just very unusual, man. It kind of smells woods, leather. I get like this apricot vibe, although not really having apricot in it. Very different. But the reason why I'm talking about it is that if we do have other opportunities of limited runs, you can know my thoughts on their previous limited runs. And it's honestly that good. Very unusual, fruity. It's like chopped up fruits with creamy leather vanilla. It smells a lot better than that sounds. And the woody additions in it actually makes it smell even more naturalistic than that sounds as well. Very different, and you'll absolutely stand out with that. And in fact, even the other limited edition that they released with the same singer, it was a singer collab called Aish Saeed, is another one that takes the similar style DNA, makes it even thicker, and adds osmanthus, is another one that got me non-stop compliments. Starting things off is one that's actually fresh, because we're known in the Middle East to get a little bit testy. Our fresh can be woody and spicy, but still considered pretty fresh. Woody, aquatic, a little bit peppery, and a lot of olibanum, the resins. The resins kind of adds a freshness to it while giving it a balsamic and piney nature. Imagine being on the coast at Capri and a plank of wood just washes up on shore. That's like the best envisionment that I could have for this fragrance. Fresh, aquatic, woody, masculine, and it lasts literally all day. I rank this one of the best from Qissa Perfumes because of its overall mass appeal for those in the West. I think those of you in the West will love this fragrance because it has a very familiar aquatic, woody style DNA and just giving you sheer power from the East. Along with intensifying the Oriental vibes just a little bit from the frankincense, it's nothing unusual, at least for us here in the West. It just emphasizes a little bit more. If you're looking for one to get into, this is absolutely one of those. One of the ones also where I spray it 3 times and it's enough for the entire day. A freshie that lasts that long, you can wear it into any other season, and it's gotten me a compliment every single time I've rocked this fragrance. So yes, strong, beastly, but it works. It works really damn well. In terms of the occasions, anything, literally anything. Could you wear it to dates? I just wouldn't personally wear it to a date. It's just way too loud for something like that. But everything else, weddings, daily, whatever, it works, man. Check the links down in the description for the best prices on all of these fragrances with authentic, most importantly, authentic sources. For around 130 bucks, it's 100% worth it. And some of the links down in the description, they ship worldwide with free shipping. We made it happen, you guys. Check it out. Moving on to the next one. This is also another one that's pretty mass appealing and fresh in even the Western sense. It's called Spanish Tobacco. Extremely aquatic and woody, and you might say that, oh, that sounds similar to this one, except it's much less oriental. There isn't any of that olibanum or resins, and this one kind of has a slight floral touch, that addition of iris. There is a note of Spanish tobacco, and what you're going to end up with is this very, very mild blonde style tobacco undertone, almost resembling like patchouli, but even lighter than something like that. Slightly metallic, aquatic, and very woody, masculine. This stuff is so damn strong though, yet you will potentially go nose blind, so be careful with the trigger of this one. When I sprayed this on, I thought it was gone, so I kept spraying it even more, and I was like, okay, you know what, whatever. It's a weak performing fragrance. Went to the gym about 5 hours later, and one of my boys came up to me and said, you smell amazing. You filled the entire place up, but it's really, really strong. I was like, really? He told me, yeah, you smell like fresh and a little bit of tobacco. I was like, you're spot on. That's exactly what it is. So fresh, aquatic, woody, slightly metallic, and tobacco. I know for the most part, a lot of people think tobacco, like, is that even fresh? This one is definitely fresh. Moving on to the next one is more of a definitive freshie for the Middle East, in a realm between fresh and woody. It's called Marj by Ahmed Al-Maghribi. This opens up with pear and tangerine, fruity fresh, and then it also has musk, leather, and oud. It is phenomenal. For the price point and the performance, it's really good. This one has enough fruits making it unisex, so ladies can easily rock this, but gentlemen, if you don't like fruity vibe, you might find it to go more towards the femme nature. I personally have rocked it. I've got compliments, and I think it's absolutely unisex. Dry, woody, musky, oudi, but also that jammy natured of pear and tangerine. Really good. It has that candied vibe to it too, those fruits at the top. It's not necessarily just clear cut, here you go, bowl of fruits. No, candied bowl of fruits with woods, basically, and a little bit of an incense background, if you will. Performance of this is nuclear and it's to the next day, and the occasions, honestly, I would even dress this one up. Can you dress it down? You absolutely could, but it's something that you could easily dress up. Anytime, any place, anywhere, although most appropriately, it does smell expensive. So you might want to actually reserve this one for when you're trying to make an impression, not necessarily seduce somebody, but you want to stand out. You want your projection, your sillage, weddings, etc., events, family events. This is the one to go with for sure. Moving on to the next one, might be a little bit more familiar for the West, but still having Middle Eastern aspects or Eastern aspects. This is called Arabian Night Silver by Al-Arabi Al-Oud. And what this basically smells like is ambroxan. So think of other popular ambroxan pepper fragrances with a heavy dose of geranium. And this geranium adds like a rose and spice type of vibe. More so something aromatic and herbal. It smells like a woody, musky based fragrance with those peppers and hints of incense. You do have to enjoy more peppery oriental fragrances to enjoy it, but this is like that ambroxan DNA of the Middle East, basically. I love this stuff. The geranium is extremely attention grabbing, and geranium is a note that's used in a lot of other popular masculine style fragrances, which is exactly what this one adds to the whole DNA, is just another level of masculinity. Compliment getter, lasts easily 8 to 10 hours, and in terms of which one I enjoy more between the gold to the silver of the same brand, I would say the silver has a bit more of a freshness, allowing you to wear this all year round, while the gold emphasizes a bit more on the musk, making it more appropriate just for the fall and winter. The DNA, however, absolutely having striking resemblances, but the differences are that musk and the density. And for that reason, the occasions is literally anywhere. I've worn it to the gym, I've worn it to dates even, and it works. Just atomize according to where you're going. If you're going to the gym, maybe spray it 4 times. If you're going on dates, you know, maybe 5 times, 6 times, and so on and so forth, basically. For the price, for under 120 bucks, it's absolutely worth it. Next level stuff, all of these, man. When you start to dive into a whole different region of perfumery, it's literally opening up another world of fragrance, genuinely. Trying any one of these will open a door to a whole nother existence of fragrance design and just aspect that you might not have tried before. And I think it's personally, it's worth at least grabbing. And if you wanted to start with something, personally, I would recommend or suggest that you start with something that sounds the safest. However, if you trust in my taste and you know my taste and you've been rocking with me for a while, then it might be even safer to test the boundaries just a little bit more. Moving on to the next fragrance, this is not going to be testing too many boundaries because it smells like jasmine, citruses, ambroxan, peppers, and incense. So kind of in a similar realm, you know, but except for the fact that this one emphasizes a little bit more on this lemon, musk, jasmine vibe, adding a bit of a soft edge to it, or a soft touch to it, I should say, and really giving it a sophistication. It absolutely smells blue, slightly peppery, ambroxan, having that white florals really soften things up and allows you to dress this one up even more. It's not the longest lasting fragrance in the world. It gives me about 7 hours, I would say, but that jasmine lemon musk combo is something else. That is like an addition to the whole ambroxan pepper incense DNA, and together they actually smell really freaking good. For the price, this is a little rocket. I love Blue Laverne, and out of my entire collection, this is easily top 3. Mass appealing, compliment getting, refined. If you like incense, ambroxan, fresh, and peppery, you're going to like that one. Dress it up to a date, dress it down to the gym, it works everywhere. Moving on to the next one, this is called Ghali by Oud Elite. So listen, this is now where we're starting to tread into a territory where it's not really the most summer appropriate in Western sense. This is musky, woody, and it's also a lot of ambery oud. And the ambery oud in this one smells like authentic Indian oud. So you're starting to get into an animalistic fragrance. I've rocked it during the summertime, and it's gotten me some of the most compliments when rocking this, mostly in the summertime. There's something about certain oud fragrances that actually shines the most, or denser fragrances that make them shine the most in certain amounts of heat. And that's exactly the case with this one. It's not going to be for everybody during the summertime, but for me, it's gotten me the most compliment, and that's what this is about. Animalistic, aphrodisiac, and everything else that I could say about it being good. All jokes aside, the descriptors are true, and the best way I could describe it is aromatic, dry, woody, and oudi. Simple as that. Now, like I said, this is one where you're gonna have to tread into carefully, and if it doesn't work for you during the summertime, I still absolutely love this fragrance. It's just my personal experience in the summer. It's gotten me the most compliments during that exact season. In terms of the performance, this is easily 10 plus hours. I've gotten hints of this on clothing to the next day, but nothing more than that. It's very appropriate. Actually, it's extremely strong considering what it's doing. Something that just smells regal and elegant. The occasions, honestly, I would personally rock this whenever you just want to smell like $1,000,000. Middle Eastern money. If you want to smell like Arab money, that's the one to basically go with. Underrated, really, really good. And the authenticity of the smell or recreation of the oud, unless there's actual authentic oud, I'm not exactly sure. It's next level stuff for sure. Moving on to the next one, another one from Laverne, and it's called King Tobacco. King Tobacco smells like a little bit of this watered down honey, and the reason I say watered down is because it's not as rich, and light blonde tobacco with some white florals to soften everything up, maybe like neroli. Phenomenal fragrance that takes the tobacco DNA and honey and makes it more wearable. I wore this during the summertime. It was around 85 degrees Fahrenheit and it got me a shit ton of compliments. Official notes of this include citruses and lavender, and I can absolutely sense that. Maybe it's that lavender that's giving me that frothy nature, almost like the shaving cream vibe, and it smells amazing. Light blonde tobacco, citruses, and light honey is exactly what this one smells like. Another fragrance that I personally have experienced and gotten much better results with during the summertime. It's not as thick as other fragrances that do exactly the whole blonde tobacco and honey, and for that reason it does have its differences. As this one starts to dry down, it goes more towards the vanillic musky nature side of things, and it doesn't necessarily have much more of an emphasis around a more indolic style of florals. The whole lavender thing keeps it foamy rather than going fatty and thick waxy. It's that exact reason that makes this one easier to wear during the summertime, is it's foamy, not as thick as other fragrances that might use the same thing except white florals. It worked. Long story short, this got me compliments. It lasts about 8 hours, I would say, tops for me, and the occasions for this is when you want to leave a lasting impression, even dates. It's got a masculinity to it. It smells like money, sophisticated, or I mean, I really wouldn't signature scent this one. It's just exudes another level of class. That golden honey, it smells extremely sophisticated while still being soft and approachable. So those vibes. You want somebody to come in close to kind of get a second sniff? This is one of those. For the price at around $130, 200 mLs worth of juice, these are value for money, man. This is where you need to be. If that's what you're about, performance, scent profiles, and value, you found the right place. So hit that subscribe button and let's move on to the next fragrance. So this is called Imperial Valley by Qissa Perfumes. This is a fragrance that's signature scent of Dubai. Simple as that. Oudi, woody, musky, and aromatic. That's it. It's got like this attention-grabbing rosemary, which is borderline in the mint family of things, also having a musky leather and oud. It smells like Bakhoor, incense. And Bakhoor and incense is something that we wear all year round. There isn't really a limitation to it. We don't necessarily wear oud just during the summer, and it's going to be one that, although has fresh aspects to it, I don't think it's going to be the freshest thing in the world for those of you in the West. It does have a woody nature similar to other aquatic woody fragrances, except it removes the aquatic vibe and adds more of this aromatic leather vibe. But the leather isn't of a texture that's creamy thick, allowing this one to be relatively light. I still think that even people in the West might find this one leaning slightly on the fresher side of things, but it will be unusual at first. I actually tried to get a couple of my Western friends to sniff this one, and they all said, oh, it's kind of fresh and woody. And so for whatever it's worth, I think that's definitely worth mentioning. So although having those incense resemblances and Bakhoor, etc., it's phenomenal, man. If you like those typical aquatic woody fragrances, give this one a shot. It actually doesn't fall too far from the tree in comparison to Capri. This one obviously emphasizing a lot more on the light DNA, and this one having a bit more of the incense and leather oud. I'm not saying that they're similar, but they absolutely have a very consistent DNA from the whole house, basically. This will literally last to the next day on clothing, and you can wear it anywhere. You're gonna smell like $1,000,000. It just smells like money. It smells expensive. It smells peppery, rosemary, attention-grabbing, leather, musky. It smells expensive AF. When I was in Dubai, this is literally everything I was smelling, and it was like 98 Fahrenheit, bro. It was like 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and it still smelled like money. Absolutely one of the must-haves. If you're gonna go into Qissa Perfumes, grab yourself Imperial Valley. You kind of have to. That's their fragrance. You gotta check it out, man. Their malls, their stores, everything smells like Imperial Valley, basically. Next one on this list is musky, woody, aromatic as well, but softened out with some florals. So some differences now. We're starting to tread into something a bit softer, adding a few soapier nuances. Not a soapy fragrance by any means, just softening out the whole musky, woody edge. Less brittle, if you will, and kind of more refined. Also adds a note of berries at the top, giving it more interesting factors and something a bit attention-grabbing and head-turning in the beginning, and hence the whole, compliment-getting factor. It's Sultani by Arabian Oud. The opening of this is actually really nice, and it's one that I always want to relive. It's musky, it's aromatic, it's fresh, but it also has the fabric softener vibes added to that whole thing. And the berries are the chef kiss to the top of the fragrance, as simple as that. It lasts easily 10 hours on me personally, and the overall scent profile is not really that offensive. If you spray it on about 6 times, you're set for the entire day. I like to spray it a little bit more, but the more you spray this one, the muskier it gets and the heavier it wears. The occasions for this, you can signature scent it, but you could also wear it to dates, special occasions, business meetings, to the office. It really comes down to how much you're gonna spray this one as well. You do have to be careful with this style of fragrance, the whole musky aromatic, because the more you spray it, the more the scent actually changes. So you can't spray it more than about 12 times, I would say. It then starts to shift, basically. And this is one of the more premium fragrances by Arabian Oud, but understandably so, because it does something that, although it has in common with a lot of other musky woody fragrances, it takes it to the next level, basically. Last but not least, base, a more recent release, and this one has gotten me compliments now every time that I've rocked it, and it's understandable. It's addicting, it's contrasted with like raspberries, salty ambergris, a little bit of wood, some freshness, aquatic vibes, woody vibes, Bakhoor vibes. It's crazy, man. This is called Qurashi Blend Royal, the newest addition to Abdul Samad Al Qurashi. It takes the original DNA, the Qurashi blend, and just makes it more modern, more attention-grabbing. Saffron and raspberry, that's just like, what is that? Right away. A little bit of a base natural sweetness coming from that raspberry, but then it's contrasted so nicely with a naturalistic smelling salty ambergris, a woody dry down, a woody base, still giving you that lily of the valley soapy vibe undertone with the oud. My God, dude, this is one of the best ones. It has this gummy, fruity lychee vibe that, trust me guys, it's still pretty damn masculine, just makes it a little bit easier to wear, adds a more attention-grabbing factor and a more mass appeal to the whole sophisticated, elegant, high-end ass oud fragrance by Abdul Samad Al Qurashi. It's very different, it's aquatic, it's salty, it's also got its next level stuff, man. It's very attention-grabbing, and it was challenging for me to get into the OG. This is when I got into a little bit easier, so you're probably gonna have an easier time with something like this, and the performance for this was like 9 to 10 hours, I would say. It doesn't go as beastly, which also translates into being easier to get into. The occasions, if you want to smell like $1,000,000, gold bars written all over it. Simple as that. I rocked it to the gym. It's not the most gym appropriate fragrance because of the lychee, but summertime it worked, and in fact, the original summertime it works too. Most people will keep it for like cooler weather, but it's one of those fragrances where it works. Just spray it not more than 4 times in the summertime and it works. Weddings, dinner dates, I mean, wherever you want to smell like Middle Eastern royalty, basically. So Royal was an appropriate name. The color is also an appropriate color. I paid a premium. It was absolutely worth it, and I'd buy it again. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 10 of my most complimented Middle Eastern niche fragrances I've rocked in the summertime. Make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.